Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Limited Lorcana. Today, we're going to be doing a draft. We just did the sealed a little bit earlier, and now we're going to hop in and do a format that's a little bit more requires you to know the set. Having some set knowledge definitely helps with draft because it kind of helps you to know, like, is this the best 5-drop I can get? Is this the best 4-drop I can get? Or if I take this 5-drop, what can I shift it on? Stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, we're going to be drafting with AI. Unfortunately, this is all AI driven. There's no players. But we have a very interesting pack to start here. We actually have a legendary, which we didn't get in our sealed earlier. So some of the cards that we saw earlier, I'm just going to briefly cover again, but I won't go into as much detail. Yzma is a 2/1. If you have more cards than your opponent, she gets returned to your hand when she's banished. Grenade makes actions a little bit cheaper when you quest them. Cogsworth 3/3 with item synergy, so much to give. Actually, I haven't seen this one. Draw a card, choose a character against bodyguard until the start of your turn. It's alright. That's actually not too bad because it does cycle. It is inkable, so I wouldn't dislike this card. Bell 3-drop 3/3. You may banish chosen item of yours to play this character for free. We got Training Staff, choosing character against challenger +2. Madame Medusa, 4-drop, inkable 3/4. Whenever this character quests, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to put the top 3 cards of chosen player's deck into their discard. Milling isn't that good in limited that I would recommend taking this. So I think this is a little bit of a trap. It's just not super beneficial. Because you could mill 3 really good cards, or you could just mill 3 1-drops and be like, it is what it is. Most of the time, you don't really want to do the 2 damage to your own characters. Some stuff does synergize with it, but you'd have to have those synergies before I'd pick this. Coda, 3-drop, 2/2, quest for 3. It's not bad to have some just 3 questers. Like, they can do a lot, especially if you have a lot of 3 questers and 2 questers. Tweedledee, Tweedledum, 5-drop, inkable, 4/4. Whenever this character quests, you may return chosen damage character to that player's hand, or to their hand. I enjoy this card. I think this card is good. 5-drop 4/4 is fine for the stats, and it quests for 2, and the effect could help you some, especially if you challenge with something that has a good on play. Then you return it to your hand, and now you'll be able to play it again next turn. Jasmine, 5-drop, uninkable 3/5. When this character quests, if you have no cards in hand, draw a card for each ally character you have in play. That's not bad. There are a lot of allies that you don't even realize. Like, most of all these sets have a ton of allies to take, so that's actually pretty good. It is uninkable. I would actually consider this. And then we have Sven, 5-drop inkable 2/6 rush, and then when you play his character, chosen character gets -3 this turn. Not super big fan. If he had been a 3/6, I would like him a lot more, but the 2/6 means most of the time he's not taking anything out. He's just helping somebody else take something out without being banished, which is fine, and he can still sing some of the 5-drop songs, but I'm not super high on him. Then we have Bahira, 5-drop inkable 4/3, bodyguard, quest for 2, and then during an opponent's turn when this character is banished, deal 2 damage to each opposing character. I really like this card. Grab your swords on a body, and it's ink. Yes, it has to be they attack you, but in limited, a lot of times that's how it goes, especially with this being a bodyguard. This is my first pick. I think Jasmine would actually be my second pick, and then Coda would probably be my third pick. All right. So in this, we've got Panic. We talked about him last time. He was a 2/3 quest for 2. When you play him, you may move 2 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. Lady, 1/2. When you have this character named Tramp in play, this character gets +1 lore. And Tramp is actually cheaper to play if you have Lady in play. So if you actually open a sealed with like a bunch of ladies and a bunch of tramps, you can actually turn 1 play like Lady, and then turn 2 play, I think, 2 tramps. I think they are a 2-drop that becomes a 1-drop, or it's a 3-drop that becomes a 2-drop, but even then you could then play another one. They actually synergize pretty good within themselves, but you kind of have to have them to get there. We have Grandmother Fa, 1/1. Whenever this character quests, you may give a chosen character of yours +2 strength this turn. It's like support, but not quite. She's okay. Like I said, you kind of have to value this like a support card. But I mean, she quests for 2, and she does basically give support, so I like it. Toll House 1/3. He's like the pain. That's a 1-drop 1/3. No effect. Card Soldiers. This is a 1-drop we really want, but unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna take this super early. Have Miss Bianca 5-drop, or sorry, 6-drop 5/5. If you have an ally character in play, you pay 2 less. This card is really good. There are a lot of allies that you will play turn 1 through 3, and you will almost always be able to play this card on turn 4. She's very good. 4-drop for 5/5 Inkable is insanely good. We have Thunderbolt. This is what we've talked about before. 5-drop 3/7, and it even has the Puppy Shift line. Gizmoduck 4-drop 4/3. He can challenge damaged characters, or readied damage characters, and he is resist 1. Anna, we had her last game too. 2/3 support, quest for 2, and then she can prevent an opposing character from readying. And then 8-drop John Silver 6/4. If an opposing character was damaged this turn, you pay 2 less to play this character. So most of the time you can play him for 6. Resist 1. When you play an action that isn't a song, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. Most of the time you're just going to play this for 6. He's a 6/4 with resist 1, quest for 2. He's okay, but personally I think I'm going to take Thunderbolt because it's really early in the set and we still have the chance to see more puppies. I am typically a pretty big fan of taking some of the higher cost cards earlier in the draft and then filling out the low cost when you can. Just because a lot of times in draft, a lot of people aren't very experienced. So you'll see that a lot of people overvalue having a bunch of 1 and 2 drops and 3 drops, that they kind of get to the end of the packs and like realize, oh, I don't have anything that costs more than 4. And sometimes that's okay for a valid game plan. But it's normally good to have a good curve and go like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop, and they have good stats, they have meaningful effects, and they do stuff, rather than playing a bunch of 1-drops early and kind of stalling out. So we're going to take this Thunderbolt. Okay. So nothing big, super big in this pack. Tanana is a 4-drop for 4. 5-drop Stefan, King Stefan, 4/7 for 5 is not bad. Razul, when play, if you have a character named Jafar in play, you may banish chosen item. Again, we don't really care about banishing chosen item for our opponents. Most of the time, that's just not worth it. This Li Shang, if you have support, he can do a lot. Being able to challenge ready characters. We have Maribel. She's a 3-drop 1/3 evasive singer 5. If you had a couple of these, that would be really good with the family song, especially if you had the big Maribel and the Isabel and stuff like that. I could even see the synergy, but I would have to have some of those other cards before I started taking those cards, right? Like I would have to have already taken the song or Isabel, and then I might look for like, okay, I can kind of get into there because a lot of people will look at those cards and say, well, this isn't very good. And you can kind of pick up that stuff, especially in draft, but you could also start picking up these and then just not get any of the support. So I would recommend for most people to stay away. Ink Geyser is just not a very good limited card. That's my personal opinion, but 3-drop, uninkable. Each player exerts all the cards in their inkwell. Then each player with more than 3 cards in their inkwell returns cards at random from their inkwell to their hand, so they have 3 cards in their inkwell. This just like you're taking an entire turn to do it, and in limited, the games are fairly quick, and you don't really have a lot of time to take off entire turns. Moana is okay, 1/6. If you have a lot of support, she can actually be pretty good because she's very hard to banish. But we have 4-drop Jebediah Farnsworth, who I think we're probably going to take. He's a 3/3, has support. When you play this character, chosen character gains resist 1 to the start of your turn. He is a fantastic 4-drop. He's got the support, which we love. He's got the resist, which enables you to trade up on one of your other characters. What else do you need? So we've got a 4-drop and 2 5s. In this pack, this was a Peg. Peg was the one I had mentioned earlier where you can exert if you have 3 more other characters in play and draw a card. Again, it's also an ally for the Bianca we were talking about. So we've got Matthias, who's a good 2-drop, 3/2 with Ward. We've got Baymax, he's a 3/2, enters the play exerted. I personally like the Matthias a little more than the Baymax or some of the other 2-drops. Entering exerted is a pretty big downside, but if you're on the play, it's pretty good because most 1-drops in this are 1/2s. They're not 2/2s, unless they're like, there is a Hey. There's a 1-drop 2/2 Hey, who is nice. So on the play, Baymax is fine. On the draw, I most of the time would just ink this card. Bucky 3/2. When this character is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. Like the Bucky, I like the Matthias. I think we're probably going to go with a 2-drop here now, and then potentially pick up, hopefully either Bucky, Baymax, or Peg come back around in this pack. We got the Gizmo Ducks, the training staff, I think we talked about earlier. Roger, he heals, but again, it's just a 1-drop 1/2, not really that good. There's only 3 puppies for his effect. And then Calhoun, you have to discard, which is a pretty steep price to pay. So we're going to go ahead and take the Matthias. And speak of the Hey Hey, we have the 1-drop 2/2 Hey Hey, which is great. I really love this card. Lady Cluck, Bodyguard, Ward, 2/7. She can be really difficult to deal with if you don't have like high enough stats or don't have any supports or anything like that. However, we have Perla, who is a fantastic card. 3-drop 3/2 evasive support. She helps you take care of any evasives. She gives you the support for your characters that need additional strength, or even help you just take out characters with big bodies. So we're definitely going to take the Perla. If it wasn't the Perla, I'd probably go Hey Hey. And then I'd maybe look at Lady Cluck. This is a new card too. Anastasia, 3-drop 3/1. Whenever this character quests, the challenging player chooses and discards a card. Little too expensive, and a lot of times if they're going to take this out, they're going to take it out in a beneficial way. You can poke away. She's okay, but you kind of have to have a deck with enough high questers and enough things that live and fight on the board. So, but we're going to take the Perla there, give us a way to deal with evasives. This is a hard one. So he's a tramp, choosing character, +1 strength for each character you have in play. Not really good card that we'd want. It's not really a 1-drop either. You're not going to play this on turn 1. Ember Coil, it's an item. It's okay. When you ink a card, you can heal 2 damage from a chosen character. Can be meaningful, and you can get a value out of it. I actually don't hate this item because it's also a turn 1. Most of the turn 1s in this set, if it's not like Hey Hey Mulan or something like that, don't typically do that much. So this could be an okay substitution for that. However, you have to remember that late game, you might not always be inking, so you kind of start losing some of the effect. And you are still losing a card from your hand that could have been a character that you would much rather have seen, or like utility that helps you a little more. But this, I could see being a playable item. Especially if you had like enough bells and stuff like that. If you had bells, this could be a good way to like banish it. And if you don't, then you can also just use the effect naturally. 4-drop Moana, 4/3 evasive. Whenever this character challenges another character in play, give another chosen character of yours +3 strength. Really, really like this card. Again, it kills evasives, and it helps even give support, basically. Support through challenging. And then we have Treasure Guardian, which is a 3/3. When you play this character, if you have a Legion character in play, you may draw a card. And it's on turn 4, which is perfect because Raja's turn 2, Jafar's turn 3, Treasure Guardian's turn 4, and then I think there's an Iago that's turn 4 that's a 6/4 evasive, who's a really, really good card. I'd love to take this, but I don't know how many illusion characters I'm going to get. I know for sure that no matter what, Moana is going to be good. It's a tough pick. If I had even one illusion, I would take this Treasure Guardian, but hopefully it comes back around. I don't think it will, though. Here we kind of are just taking the best card of what's left. One thing to talk about in drafts is when you get lower in the packs, you're not going to have as many good cards. You're mostly going to want to take cards that are either okay, or if the rest of the cards are uninkable, you want to take cards that are at least inkable so that you don't end up stuck with a bunch of uninkables in your deck. So unlike Sealed, where you get to cut 32 cards in draft, it's 4 packs, 12 cards each. You only get to draft 48 cards total. You only get to cut 8 cards. So you really want to make it so you're only cutting 2 cards per pack, roughly. So you kind of have to be careful with how many uninkables you have and how many inkables that you end up drafting. So 5-drop, 4/3. When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to chosen damage character. It's okay. That's pretty much where I'll leave it. It's okay. Candlehead is 2/2. When this character is banished, you may remove 2 damage from chosen character. Not a fan of this as a 2-drop. Toll House is a 1-drop 1/3. We actually have a good amount of support through like Perla, Moana, and I think Jebediah also. So this actually isn't too bad. I'd probably pick this up. Restoring the Heart, move up to 3 damage to chosen character or location, draw a card. This is okay. It cycles. It heals and it draws a card. So I can't hate on this. This is good. It's inkable as well. Lady Cluck 2/7 Bodyguard Ward. We actually have a lot of supports to make Lady Cluck really dangerous because we can weaponize her if we need to, and we can also protect some of our higher questers if we want. I think we're going to take this Toll House, though. Yeah, it just gives us a 1-drop to get started on that. Okay. In this pack, we're going to take Denali for sure. 3-drop, 3/2, Reckless, Resist, +2. He can take out most 1-drops, 2-drops, and 3-drops and not get banished. The downside, obviously, that he can't quest and that he has to challenge. And there's not as many songs in this set so that you can kind of surprise your opponent by saying, like, actually, I'm not going to challenge because I can sing, so I don't actually have to deal with the Reckless. But still, decent card, and he's inkable. Well, we got lucky. The Coda came back, so we're definitely going to take this Coda because the questing for 3 is really nice. So much to give. Also something we could consider, but again, just 3 questers are great when you can get them. We'll take the 2-quester Ana. And so I'm talking about, like, we kind of get at the bottom of the pack. You kind of normally have less picks where it's like, oh, the 1 card I was hoping for came back. I'm just happy with that. This, we really don't have a choice. We're going to take Water as Memory. We're more likely to play it. But most likely either of these would be cut from our deck. And then we have Training Staff, which it's inkable. And honestly, the 2 cards I would cut out of this is Training Staff and Water His Memory. So like we talked about, you have 4 packs. If you cut 2 cards every pack, then boom, you've got a 40-card deck. So this wouldn't be too bad. And even then, I don't dislike running Training Staff just because it's inkable and maybe I can find a use for it. But we're going to go into our next pack. So some of these are reoccurring characters. We have a Tanana 4/4. We have Pacha 3/2, and he quests for 3 if your opponent has less cards in hand than you. Toby is a 1-drop 3/1 uninkable. Not bad. Bolt 4-drop 2/4 with support, quest for 2. Don't mind it. Like we said, even for the 3-drops, you have to be careful with the 2/4. It has to have a meaningful effect. Support is a super meaningful effect. It kind of helps you still get to do what this card wants to do, right? It's a 2-quester. It wants to quest. So now it gets to quest and it gets to help something challenge. So that's great. Moana, we could actually arguably say this is really good in our deck. We've got a lot of support for it. Mulan is a really good 1-drop. We've got Perla, evasive support 3/2. Again, really like that card. Mufasa, little expensive. We don't have any 4-drop Mufasas, but we could pick this up as a speculation, hoping we get one of those. Ruby Coil, not, again, most of these items just not a fan of. Basil, 3/6. Whenever this character quests, opposing character gains Reckless during their next turn. This is not bad. 3/6, and he quests for 3. He kind of says you have to challenge me, so don't mind it, but it is a 6-drop, so there's only a limited amount of spots for those. But it being a 3-quester definitely opens up some spots. 6-drop Pongo 5/5. At the start of your turn, you may look at the cards in your inkwell. You may play a puppy card from there for free. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any puppies. We're still hoping that we get a puppy to go with our Thunderbolt, and it's uninkable. But this is a pretty good card. 6-drop 5/5 is pretty nice. So I would consider Pongo and Basil. I think 1-drops are really hard to come by in this set, and I think I'm going to kind of take the one that I actually do like. So I'm going to take this Mulan, but I definitely could argue that Basil is a slightly better card to take. I think if I was going to take Mulan, I would take Basil, and if it wasn't Basil, I'd take Perla. Perla is really good as well, but I think we'll probably be able to pick up a second one later. It is an uncommon versus Mulan is a common, so that's another thing to consider is the amount of cards that you'll see. So, but I'm going to take the Mulan, and I'm all right with that. So in this, we have the Pain, the 1-drop, the Burlaws, Toby, Mariana Guzman, which I like this one. 3/4, where you have a character named Dolores in play. Character gains +1 lore. Even if you have no Doloreses, a 3-drop 3/4 is great for stats. Like, that's just kind of the long and short of it. 2-drop Penny 2/1, where you have a hero in play. She gains ward. Even if she don't have a hero in play, there's only a couple ways to actually deal 1 damage to a card that isn't just challenging. She's pretty good. She can actually really help you turn on the gas if you need to be aggressive in a matchup and they don't play like a turn 1 or 2. So Penny is actually really good. Got Orville 3-drop during your turn while you have a character named Miss Bianca or Bernard in play. He gains evasive 4/3 for 3. Again, his stats are good. He's a little bit overstated. He actually beats a lot of things because he beats all of the 4/4s, and he even beats a lot of these characters that have 2, or like, you know, even like Lady Cluck, he can swing into it and he doesn't get banished, right? So we're going to take Mariana because he's just a really good 3-drop. But if it wasn't that, it would probably be Penny or Orville. If we had took Miss Bianca earlier, I'd be more inclined to take him now. But I think we're going to take Mariana Guzman. If we get Bianca's back, we might take the other one. So we got a puppy, but unfortunately, it's not the puppy we want. We want the 2-drop puppy. We could take this Coda. There's another Coda. But I think we're going to take this Raja. Just a solid 2-drops. We don't have many 2-drops, right? I think we have 1. Yeah, we have Matthias as our pretty much the only 2-drop that we want. So we're going to take the Raja. Great 2-drop. If it wasn't Raja, I'd consider this Penny, which is you remove 2 damage and gain resist 1, which is really meaningful. Tweedledee, Tweedledum, or Coda. And honestly, I'd probably lean towards another Coda, because with 3 questers, the more 3 questers you have, the better it is. So take the Raja. Okay. Little bit punished because we have an opportunity to take another Mulan here. We probably didn't have to pick the other one so early. Could have taken the Basil, but it's all right. So I think we might just take the This Is My Family. It's a pretty good card. It cycles, gives you 5% of the lore. And we have stuff that is big enough, like the Raja and stuff, that can just sing it. So think we're going to take that. But if it wasn't that, I'd consider the Mulan or Tweedledee. Okay. So in this pack, we are going to take Baymax. He's a 6-drop uninkable 5/5 universal shift. You can shift them on anything that you have. And when you shift, you remove all damage from him. This is just a really nice way to surprise your opponent. And yeah, he's uninkable, but he does, like, he's going to most of the times get you like 1 for 3, because the card before him attacked something, most likely banished it, had damage on it. Now you're shifting him. He's going to be back up to full health, and he's going to be higher stats than he was before. And he fights and pretty much banishes almost everything in the set. So you're going to definitely take this Baymax. If not, I'd consider Jafar, Susie, and Matthias. I think these are the most playable cards in this. But we have some actions we'll read here. So magical maneuvers, 2-drop, chosen character of yours, return chosen character of yours to hand to exert chosen character. This is only okay if you have good on-play effects that you want to keep reusing. I would say most of the time not good enough. 3-drop, Baymax charging station. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, if you shift to play them, you may draw a card. This is a little bit of a trap. You're not going to have that many Floodborns that you get to shift. Just this card is most likely just going to sit on your table and either never draw a card for you, or it will draw 1 card for you. So, and for 3, you take a whole turn to play it. I just don't really think it's worth it. But we'll take the Baymax for sure. Okay, well, this is a really crazy pack. This is still 5 playable cards. This Moana's great. This Raja's fantastic. Akela is okay as a 2-drop. Diablo's fantastic. And Pascal's great. 4-drop, 3/3, evasive, which ultimately at the end of the day, Pascal's what we're going to be taking, because 4-drop, 3/3, evasive, and quest for 3, just really good. And we already have a lot of 3 questers. So this one is the opposite of the other pack, where there's not very many playable cards left. So we have Matchmaker and Gizmo Duck. I personally like Matchmaker a little bit, because it can kind of put your opponent in the situation where he wants to quest out, but he's going to lose some lore, and it could kind of mess up the math a little bit. Gizmo Duck is also good, but because they're both inkable, I'm going to take the Matchmaker. I can see the argument for Gizmo Duck being better, though. This pack, I don't really want to take another Thunderbolt. We still don't even have a 2-drop puppy. We got Fix It Felix, 4/4. When you return a racer card from your discard to your hand, you may ready chosen racer card. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. Not bad, but Raja's just really good. So we're gonna go ahead and take another Raja. This one we're gonna take a Perla. We actually ended up getting the Perla back. I would consider Mufasa after Perla, but probably would even just be Bolt because of how many high questers we have. So in this one, we'll take Lady Cluck. She's inkable, and she's not bad. So Much to Give, we'll take It Cycles, and it's inkable, and Training Staff. So in that pack, we're probably cutting Training Staff. So we're probably cutting both these Training Staffs, and a Water Has Memory. And honestly, those are the only cards that I almost have to cut, in my opinion. So that's not bad. All right, going into our next pack, we have a rare and a super rare. We've got Goofy, 7/6 evasive. When this character challenges another character, your other characters get +1 lore this turn, which is good. And then Double Trouble. This is the one I keep talking about, which is the 2-drop action, deal 1 damage up to 2 chosen characters. This can be really difficult, or this can really make illusion characters suffer, especially if you're able to hit 2. It is insane. But even just being able to hit 1 and get damage on another one for effect is good as well. And it's inkable. So I really like this card, but there's just no way that we're not picking Pascal number 2. It's just these 3 questers that are evasive are really good. This Taka is also something to mention, is really meaningful. Like it's 6-drop, 5/6 Challenger 2 that quests for 2. Pretty good. And then again, like I said, the Family Madrigal, you kind of have to have the rest of the package before you start picking up those kind of cards. You need the Isabel and the Big Maribel to really be like, okay, now I can consider this, but we're going to take the Pascal. Okay, a couple repeat cards. Could take this Coda as well. I don't dislike that. I'm thinking I might take this Penny though. She quests for 2. And I think we're looking like a very aggressive deck. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go over turn 4. Maybe turn 5. Probably turn 5, actually. So, I think we're going to take a lot of good Rajas, though. It's an interesting pack. I just don't think we want the Taka. We might take 1 Taka, but I don't think that's what we want. I think we're actually going to take the Mariana Guzman and hope that the Penny, the Hey Hey, or the Coda come back around. Or even the other Jebediah wouldn't have been bad. Sir K, 2 quester. He's a 2/2 that quest for 2. I think in this pack, we're just going to take Robin, who's really good. 3-drop, 3/3. Support, any quest for 1. Love this card. Jafar is also good as well. Actually, maybe I take the Jafar. I'm actually going to take the Jafar because the immediate effect and he quests for 2. But this Robin Hood is really good. I don't want to undersell that. Stabbington Brother, 4/4. When you play this, your chosen opponent loses 1 lore. Not bad either. Fine for his stats, and it can be a meaningful effect. So it's an interesting pack because we have Yokai, who makes your characters with cost 1 less with their shift ability, and then we have Baymax. Baymax benefits from the Yokai, but I think we're just going to take the Yokai. I'd also consider Dr. Calico if we weren't going to take this. There's a lot of Codas going around. Maybe we should prioritize them a little bit better, but we're going to take this Freckles. This is exactly what we're looking for our Thunderbolt. It's really good. If not, this TikTok is good. And this Snow White is nothing to sleep on. She's a 4-drop 2/2. This character can't be challenged. There's not a lot of actions to banish her, but she's a little expensive. So that's kind of the downside there. She's a little expensive and she doesn't fight well. So if you play her on 4 and your opponent goes just wider than you, you're probably not going to be able to do much about it. But we'll take this Freckles. We're going to take the Giant Cobra. Fantastic 3-drop 4/4. It is another illusion, and it's a shame that we didn't have the Treasure Guardian, but still, just those illusion cards are way overstated, and they're very valuable. We're going to take this Diablo, evasive, Challenger +2. That's exactly what we want. It helps us fight the opponents that do it, and also gives us evasion. Again, don't have the other cards. We're not going to take this, and we're almost done with pack 3. It's a little too much to kind of swap to focusing something like this. We got Devil Eye Diamond. You can exert if one of your characters does damage this turn, gain 1 lore. It's inkable, is what I'll say. At the end of the pack, if I had to take this, I wouldn't feel bad. And if I ended up having to run it as like my 40th card because the other 8 cards I'm going to cut are uninkable and unplayable, it is playable and it does have an effect that is relevant. But I'm going to take Diablo. We're going to take the Double Trouble and be very happy we got that. I like this as my family, but I think we just have to take another Coda. Those 2 questers are great. Those 3 questers. And then Sir K is another 2 quester. Emerald Coil. Probably going to get cut. So going into our 4th pack now. I didn't take much time to go through my stuff, but I would recommend doing that. Normally, that's a really good idea, is to kind of look and see, okay, do I need more 1-drops? Do I need more 2-drops? Do I need more 3-drops? But I kind of feel like I have a good idea of what I'm looking for currently. This is a very hard pack because Mushu is great, but Treasure Guardian is really good with our deck. We have so many illusions, So we're most likely going to be able to draw when we play this. I want to take the Mushu, and I think in person I'd probably take the Mushu because of the fact that it's a rare, and I'd want it for collection. I also just love Mushu as a character, but I just think the Treasure Guardian's much better in our deck for winning. Maid Marian, 4-drop, 3/3. Quest for 2 during an opponent's turn. Whenever one of your ally characters is damaged, deal 1 damage to an opposing character. Not bad. And then also giving your Lady Cluck resist is pretty good. We have 1 Lady Cluck, but again, I just think this Treasure Guardian is better. It's a 4-drop, 3/3. Quest for 2, same thing as this, but just drawing a card is so valuable and limited. Having that card advantage means so much. And we're going to take another one for sure. At the end of your turn, if this character is you may ready another chosen characters and remove all damage from them. That's not bad, especially with all these codas that we have. Would be actually pretty good. But this Treasure Guardian, just the draw is so good. Okay, and this pack, Kakamorph, while you have another pirate play, this character gains Challenger +3. Not really what we want to do. This Bell, we don't have very many items, but just a 3-drop, 3/3 is not bad. I think we're probably going to take this Susie, though. It's a 4-drop, 3/4, and she quests for 2. It's a good spot to be. We're looking for a lot of 2 questers to kind of finish our deck out because of how many like 3 questers and stuff we have. We kind of are able to push the advantage early. We're very aggressive. I like this Robin Hood, as previous mentioned. I like this Kashim as well. And this Thunderbolt's not bad, especially we have one of the puppies, but I'd want more puppies before I started looking for another Thunderbolt. I think we're going to take this Elsa. I think we actually do have an Anna, funny enough. Yeah, we do have an Anna, but it's mostly just for the fact that it's a 2/3, and we have support and stuff. We need a couple more 2-drops, so it's a good spot to be. Okay, Miss Bianca, which we actually probably, I can guarantee you we have a good amount of allies. So we can play her on 4. Tweedledum, also good. But this Fidget is evasive, and you can quest them and give another character evasive. It just allows you to deal with other evasives really cleanly. So we're going to take the Fidget. If it wasn't that, probably Bianca. Really like that card. This one, I think we're probably going to take TikTok. We're never really going to get to Mufasa, and we're never really going to get to Wendy Darling. So she's a 7-drop, 5/7, evasive. Whenever one of your characters is banished, you may remove all damage from chosen character. It's not bad. She quests for 2. We're going to take this TikTok, though. It's 5/6. Don't think we have any pirates, so we're probably not going to give it evasion, but it's an okay spot to be. This pack is kind of just... We're at the bottom of the pack. That's what's left. Toby's interesting, but I think we have 2 Milans, right? We have 1... And I didn't pick up another Hey. So we have at least 2 playable 1-drops. We don't have a lot of uninkable 1-drops. So I'm considering this Toby. I think I will. But I do think Thunderbolt would also be right here. Or even Fix It Felix. Even if you don't have racers, just a 5-drop 4/4 quest for 2 is good for stats. Pascal is fantastic. I'd also consider Fidget. But we're not that high on uninkables that I need to consider taking the Fidget instead. Take the Yokai. We've got double Baymax. We also have Puppy Shift. We'll take Anna. We have the Elsa that synergizes with it. We'll take Sven. He's inkable. And we'll take Wake Up Alice. It's inkable. All right. So for this, we're going to add all of our cards to our pool, and then we're going to go back through and kind of remove. So I'm going to sort by cost. So for songs, these are both fine to run. Honestly, I don't even mind running this. Wake Up Alice is not very good. Water Has Memory is not very good. Double Trouble, I'm happy to have. Don't really want any of these items. So you get to cut 3 characters. We've got 3 1-drops. We've got Toby, Tollhouse, and Mulan. Good amount of 2-drops, which I'm happy with. 3-drops. I think I'm actually going to cut the Denali. It doesn't quest, and our deck has a lot of questers. We kind of want to quest in this deck. So it's not bad to have a designated challenger, but I just don't think that's quite what we're looking for. I think as far as characters, I'll cut this Sven for sure. Don't want to cut any of these Baymaxes. 1-drops, 3-drops, 4-drops. We actually have a really good curve. This is hard to cut one more thing. Wow. Actually, we are going to cut that song. There's so much to give. And that's not even because it's bad. It's just because we have 40 really good cards. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a 1-drop, 2-drop, Perla as a 3-drop, and she can give Toll House support. So we're going to put back this TikTok, and I think we're going to put back this Coda, but I don't think we're going to put back anything else. Yeah. If I don't get a puppy, I can ink this. If I do get a puppy, then the shift line's open. Played the Crunchies, and he banished it for the Bell, which is one of the few uses that I would say that card has, is being able to do that. But she does only quest for 1, and we have an overstated character in Raja, and also we have Perla that will give Toll House support to deal with it later. So we're going to ink a 2-drop because we have 3 of them. We're just not going to have enough time to play them all. We're going to ink this Sir K, and we're going to play Toll House and pass. He's also, if you notice, because he played an item, then banished it for Bell, he's much lower on cards in hand. If he'd played a 2-drop there, he'd only have 3 cards in hand. So he'd be kind of all in on it, you know? He would have 2 characters, and he would be able to keep pushing the lore, but he just wouldn't push the lore fast enough to stop us. I think we're actually going to ink a 4-drop. I think we're definitely inking a 4-drop. We're going to ink this Anna. Yeah, because Jebediah gives us the resist, which I think is going to be a little better this turn, or a little bit better this game, because we kind of have to answer what he's doing. I'm going to establish the Raja. If he banishes it, he banishes it. I'm not too worried about it. It would at least be his turn, most likely. He doesn't. He establishes the Toll House now. So we're in a good spot to just play Perla next turn. Again, I'm in no rush to take out this Bell. Could even just play this Mariana, and if he quests the Bell, then I take it out, which I think actually is what I'm going to do. He hasn't played any evasives, but I still don't want to ink my evasive answer. I'm going to ink the Coda. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to, not challenge. I'm going to quest the Raja here. I quest the Raja here because if he swings with the Bell, sweet. He doesn't gain the lore for the turn, and he did what I wanted to do anyway. And if he does banish it with a card or anything like that, I still got to quest it, so I still got the effect out of it. The Anna was a good play, because now the Raja isn't able to challenge the Toll House this turn, but he's not really threatening that much lore that I'm worried. Mariana is going to get a trade up on this Bell. He lives with 1 health. And I'm going to ink, I think I'm actually going to ink this Perla, but maybe not. She actually has the challenge. I'm going to ink the Diablo because now I have another way to deal with evasives, and these are both evasive. I'm going to actually play the Perla here, I think. Yeah, I'm going to play the Perla. If it was a person, I think I would play the Moana because they wouldn't quest. Against the AI, though, I think the Perla's a little bit... backwards, actually. Against the AI, I'd play the Moana because I know that they're probably going to quest. Moana hits the Ana, trades up, and then I can support something to take out Toll House. Probably my Toll House. Against a player, I would have played Perla because I threaten the support, but I'm also not like, hey, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do that. Pass. Because if you played the Moana in person, he's just not going to do anything. He's just kind of board block. And while that's fine for us, we also kind of don't necessarily want to give him that. So he played King of Hearts damage characters can't challenge your ready characters. It's actually pretty good. Means our Mariano can no longer challenge. And even like our Raja is going to challenge into this Ana, which puts damage on him. We're going to quest the Perla, which is going to support the Toll House, so Toll House can take out Toll House. And now, none of these characters that are damaged can actually fight, but we're in a good spot because we're wider than him. And we're going to play the Treasure Guardian anyway to draw a card. So we'll have 2 bodies that can challenge. We are going to ink Double Trouble. We just don't need it, right? Even if you played 2 illusions this turn, it wouldn't really be that big of a deal for us. King Candy, 4-drop, uninkable. Whenever one of your racer characters is banished, each opponent chooses to banish one of their characters. Okay. No, again, we're just not too worried about that. I'm going to have the Perla challenge this because she's only a 1-quester. Yes, it is my evasive answer, but we're about to play an evasion character anyway. And we kind of want to keep questing, right? We want to catch up to him. So we want to make our 2 questers quest, make our 1 questers do the fighting and singing. We're going to play the Pascal. And I think we're going to ink. We're actually just going to pass. We don't have to ink anything right here. We're still only playing 1 card a hand. We're not going to get to 8 ink to play both our 4 drops in the same turn. So we're just not too worried about it like that. So we're going to play the Mulan, see what we draw. Baymax. Sweet. Actually, yeah, I really like that. So we're going to discard the Jebediah, keep more of the evasion answers. We're going to shift this onto our Toll House. So now our Toll House is better. And we're going to have him take out the King Candy. Shouldn't have had him actually do that. I think we should have had Raja probably challenge and just quested with the 2 quester, but I wanted to make Baymax fight anyway. So we're going to go up to 15 lore, and we will pass. And this game is pretty much locked up. Yep. We're too wide. We've traded up on all of his stuff. And now we just get to go ahead and say we've got a 3 quester and a 2 quester. You can't really do too much about us. All right. And we're going to go into game 2. Okay. This is a really good hand. I really like this. So the reason I say it's a really good hand is the Raja on turn 2 can sing this is my family. He only quests for 1 anyway, so we're not really missing out that much on lore. And he's overstated, so most 2 drops aren't going to be able to kill him. They're going to have to, like, if they do, it's going to be a trade. And I also got to sing a song that made me draw a card, so I cycled, I gained the lore, and you took out my characters instead of doing anything, and now your board's empty for my turn 3. That sounds good to me. So, I think we're going to keep this. Plays a Hey Hey. It's a great 1-drop. Okay, that's an interesting draw. We're going to ink this TikTok, and we're going to pass. And he had the Raja as well. So that is a little concerning for us. Going to ink this Anna. Although I honestly think I probably should ink this other Raja. I just don't have the heart for it because we have the illusion draw and everything else. Wanna. Okay. I'm actually going to not sing. I'm going to fight this Hey Hey. And I do that because now if he swings into it with my Moana, I'll be able to take it out with this Perla that I'm going to play. I'm going to ink. He hasn't played any evasion. And we still have Perla. I'm going to ink the Moana. And we're going to play this Perla. And the reason I do this is now, again, like I said, if Moana takes out this Raja, then our Perla takes out Moana. And Perla doesn't get banished. And his Raja just sticks around. We did ink the Double Trouble, so... Or maybe we sent that back, I think is what happened. But, ooh, he had the treasure to pay off, which is actually pretty good. But we do this. We take out the Moana. And we're evasive, so it's hard for him to take us out. We're going to ink a card and play something this turn. And then next turn, we'll most likely shift the Baymax. Think we're actually going to... So if I ink Jafar... and I play the Yokai and the Raja, then next turn would be turn 5. I can pay this for 3. I wouldn't be able to play... Oh, I'd be able to just play this as my family outright. Yeah, I don't dislike that play. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Ink the Jafar. Play both of these. Pass. Actually, probably should have inked the Jebediah because we want the 2 quester, I think, because we have a lot of catching up to do. He played Kita, 3/3 ward, and you can exert this to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your inkwell face down, and the other exerted. Put 1 in your inkwell face down and exerted, the other on top of your deck. Really nice. We actually do have the Double Trouble, which we could use to take out this Raja, which I might do. Honestly, Yeah, so I have to ink Jebediah here, but I'm going to play the Baymax. Shift it on. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Shift. Remove all damage. Then I'm going to play this to remove, or to deal 1 damage to Raja, take it out. 1 here. So Raja gets banished. I'm actually going to have my 1 quester fight here. Arguably, Baymax should be the one to do it because he doesn't get banished, but I kind of am behind and I kind of want to catch up a little bit. I'm also going to have Yokai sing this. Even if Kita takes him out, I got to cycle the card and Baymax still trades up and he's pretty healthy. He plays Rhino. Okay. We're in a little bit of a situation. This is where like we inked a lot of cards, we dropped down a lot, so now we don't have many answers in our hand. We draw to a house, which is a little bit of a brick. Play both of these, and I'm actually going to go ahead and take out this Kita. If he swings back with his Rhino, I don't quite banish it, but I can take it out with the Elsa. Okay, plays the Maribel. Okay, so nothing too scary. But we do still need to draw something good here in the next couple turns. This is all right. It's not a bad draw. Elsa's going to take this out. And we will quest the Toll House. He can take... He can put 2 damage into it, but I'm not too worried about that. I am worried about him drawing something big, though, and this Mickey being able to play it. But he doesn't save the Mickey, so we will be able to take that out here, which is a positive trade for us, and we will be able to take this out with Susie. It's a positive trade for us. It's the downside of Baymax, like we said, it coming in at exerted. We'll play the Guzman. Or Guzman. Plays Grandma Fall. Another thing which is not a lot of stats, but he's pushing it up. We don't have an evasive answer so far, so next turn he gets to go to 15. We're only going to go to 7 or 8, sorry. So we'll have to see. We kind of have to hope that he misses another 2-quester. Nope, he hits the 2-quester. But we can take this out without... Oh, he's going to give the strength. That's reasonable. He trades 1 lore for it. Now we have the matchmaker, which is fantastic because she'll be able to actually reduce the lore my opponent has. Take this out here because we want to keep as many bodies on board as we can. And we will go to 11. He can quest the 17. 3-quester wouldn't be enough because matchmaker would take out 1 lore. Pepper. That's kind of a miss for him. And that's the game locked up, I think. Play this bodyguarded. We're going to challenge here to take away a lore from him. Now he can only go to 18. And we get to go to 15 with a bodyguard. They also quest for 2, so... He couldn't actually banish my Bahira, but... wouldn't be enough. Alright, we are going to quest out. That was a close game, though. That was kind of the downside. Like, you see, like, I dumped my hand for a play that was really good for that 1 turn, but it put me in a top-decking situation where I didn't have all these good cards in my hand that, like, could have just helped me if I hadn't gone all in on a play. So that's kind of the downside of it sometimes. But all right, we're going to go into our final game. We don't have any evasion character, or we don't have any illusions yet, but I'm still thinking I might be a little greedy and keep this. Guzman is one of our best 3-drops, so we're going to play him. I think we're going to put that back. Yeah, because Guzman's one of our best 3-drops. We have a good amount of 1-drops, and we're keeping the 2-questers, so we actually got a pretty good hand back. We're going to ink this Toll House and play this Mulan. Draw and cycle. Cycle. We'll actually discard the Lady Cluck. Pass. played Lady. So Lady can actually take out Milan, but we're fine with that, so we'll offer the trade. We will ink our Sir K because we got the yokai that we can play, and now we can shift Baymax on turn 3. So if he doesn't take this trade into Milan, then we can shift up and actually take him out if we want to. Don't think that's quite what I want to do. I'm actually going to ink the Mariana Guzman, and I'm going to play the Jafar. And the reason I do that is because I want to establish the 2-quester. The yokai trades up here into this lady, and if he swings back with Bolt, he's not questing, and I then establish my Pascal. And I'll also quest the Mulan, because either way here, he's trading up. He doesn't. So he plays a little greedy. Plays the Peppa. Okay, we're going to ink. I didn't get any illusion characters. Still have a good amount that we could draw. I'm actually going to ink the Ana. He's a little bit better stats. Maybe it's better to keep the Ana because of the exerted thing to kind of stall him out with like an evasive quest or something, but I'm not too worried about it. We're going to take this Pascal time now, though. We're going to challenge with the Jafar, and we are going to keep questing out. Again, part of this is if he challenges me, he's losing lore in the sense that he's not questing. So yes, he's going to trade up into me, but I have good trades back into him, and he's taking the turn off of gaining lore. So yeah, like he takes out the Jafar now, which is fine. Plays the Dolores, plays a Moana, and he's in an awful spot now, unfortunately. We are going to shift the Baymax onto yokai. We'll heal. We'll actually challenge here. And we're just going to quest. I do think you can make an argument for having... We're not going to ink any cards because both the cards are 4-drops. We can still play them. I think you can make the argument for having Mulan finish up Peppa and leaving the Baymax full health, but... Which in this situation actually would have been the best play. But... sometimes you make good plays and sometimes you make okay plays. There's nothing wrong with it. We're going to have Baymax. I think I just want to go to 13, honestly. I think I just keep making him challenge into me. He doesn't have the best challenges because both of these can't take out Baymax. Has to be Stabbington. And I think we're going to play Susie, just establish another 2-quester. And we have this Pascal with evasive, so if he doesn't have the evasion answer soon, he's running out of time. Takes out my Baymax, which is understandable. But now we're just gonna keep going for it. We're gonna go to 18, and we're gonna play this Treasure Guardian and say, hey, oh, not ink. Play this Treasure Guardian and go, hey, I've got another 2-quester. You have to be able to kill. You have to be able to banish what's on the board and somehow hit my readied character. So if you can do it, you got it. But if not, we are going to win. There's that Jasmine again. I actually really like this card. I didn't see this before. Okay. This is able to challenge the Susie, put damage on it, and then bounce it with the Tweedledee Tweedledum, but it's just not enough. The Pascal just keeps questing away. So that's going to be our draft for today. Actually turned out pretty good. I mean, we had a good amount of illusions that came back around, and also just picking up 3 Pascals was crazy. I think in person, you probably wouldn't be able to get this many. If anybody isn't sure, like, Pascal is like a good card or if you should take it or not, you definitely should. It's evasive. It's a 3/3. It quests for 3. Yes, it's a 4-drop uninkable, but just like curving out with good bodies into a Pascal on turn 4 is very damaging for an opponent, right? Like Perla can take it out and stuff like that, but you know, you just kind of hold this in your hand if they have the Perla, right? They play the Perla on turn 3, you go, okay, kind of see if they'll make another trade somewhere else, and I'll come up with the Pascal later, or you have like Diablos and other stuff that they're like, well, I have to answer the evasion now. So, but it was a good deck. I enjoyed it. I've really liked the set so far. I think being able to see the dual colored cards in the draft format is really unique because normally you wouldn't be able to see some of the combinations that come out. right? Like blue steel cards, you wouldn't be able to play with amber amethyst cards. So it's nice in limited to be able to see how they all kind of play out together, having all the different shifts and stuff like that. Like yokai is the blue green that makes your Floodborn characters cost 1 less when you shift them, right? You normally couldn't see him with like Thunderbolt the dog or the Mufasa shift. So they can actually kind of surprise people because you play shifts a little bit faster than what's expected. Like we said, he synergizes naturally with the Baymax because you play him on turn 2, turn 3 you can shift him into Baymax and trade up on your opponent's board. But that's going to be it for the draft today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I try and make a couple videos during the week, a couple more sealeds and drafts so people get a little more experience with the set. But I'm really excited for this. I hope you guys are as well, and I hope you guys are liking the new mic. I definitely think it's a better quality than what I had before. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.